hello. Intellijel's Cascadia is an all-in-one, self-contained, tricked-out analog synth. Within this panel, it has packed a fairly insane amount of modules into a very small space. In fact, something that is really equivalent to the size of an Intellijel palette case, 1U strip and all. So if you want an analog modular synth, but you don't want to build one, or you're looking to ridiculously expand a semi-modular analog setup that you've already got, and you want to know that what you've invested in will keep you busy for a long time, watch on. I'm going to tell you in one go everything that's in here, and then we're going to make sounds and jam. It is 2 oscillators, 2 filters. It has a mixer. In here you can see you've got noise, and the noise has got digital modes as well as white and pink. You've got a line input so you can interface line level stuff to it. You've got an analog wave folder based on classic things, which is here, and obviously with all of these things they've got inputs and separate outputs. You can use them independently as well as use the normaling. That means that you can get sound without plugging in cables. There's a VCA here with a separate input. This little filter is also able to act as a VCA, and in effect it can be used a bit like a low pass gate when you combine it with the envelopes to create that thwack. There are 2 envelopes. A kind of AHDSR version, but with some clever things in it, such as the ability to CV control the overall time and time stretch the envelope, which is really cool, as well as this hold dial, and you can choose what the hold does. And envelope B is this kind of tricked out function generator that is both an envelope and has rise and fall, also an LFO, and also a burst generator with different modes to address them, such as free running, synced to the beat, or LFV, low frequency vacillator. Bit of a weird term, but basically it means that the envelope starts to just sort of rise and fall with its own kind of id, its own sort of funny brain kind of cadence. So it means that this is both a traditional envelope, an LFO, and a really interesting, weird, whacked out function generator. So yes, 2 oscillators, one that has got soft and hard sync, that has PWM, and which has through 0 FM as well. A second, more traditional VCO, again full range, and then this strip of utilities in which you have sample and hold. Very cool. By default, it's being triggered by the MIDI clock. Note that by tapping these, we can start to interact with the controls, get different divisions. You've got to the right of it a slew generator, envelope follower, and you've got controls over this. You've got this mixuverter, which is a little mixer, 2-channel summing mixer, but you've got a control here. You can use this to do things like double the strength of voltages as well, and it's got 3 outputs, which is nice. You don't need to use a mult, even though I've got one here. There's an LFO with 3 outputs. Really cool this, because these 3 outputs are controlled by this one dial, but there are these division switches, and we can use this to have them all run at similar sort of speeds, or divide them by divided by 4, divided by 3, divided by 5, divided by 8, and they phase the outputs are all kind of phased. So they're all going to do different things at different times and just generally be musically related and interesting. You can see by default that this then passes through into the mults. There's a whole section of mults here, so you can mult 3 things to 2 different places. A little unity mixer here, a little inverter here, a bidirectional to unipolar converter, useful because these are bidirectional. You might want to have something happen that's unipolar. There's an expression level control here, and that exists because there's an expression pedal out on the back. That is for controlling the expression level in pedals that could control various functions. In the case of Black Hole, you can map that to control almost any parameter on the pedal. I think any parameter, in fact, which is a thing you may wish to do because there's an effects loop on Cascadia. That's right, there's an analog effects loop so that you can send out to a pedal or a line level device and return it in mono, this is, and then bake it into the output path. So there are no effects built into Cascadia, but it has this really tricked out way of incorporating your pedals or other line level stuff. Very cool. And again, you can use this converter to convert CV to expression. So for example, I could literally convert an LFO into a expression and feed it into the pedal that was in the loop. Really cool. There's a ring modulator here, and there's 2 filters. There's a wicked, acidic, 8-mode multi-mode filter with low pass, band pass, and high pass, as well as notch and phaser. And this is a diode ladder filter. Now, it doesn't have a resonance control, but it's got just as ever so slight resonance. And so it's just this kind of wonderful other flavor to this rounder, sort of sound. And in its implementation, there's a VCA in the path as well. When you combine it with the envelope, then you can basically use this like a low pass gate, which is cool because of the wavefolder. You get the sense, right, that this is able to do West Coasty things as well as East Coasty things. This is definitely a thing which straddles all forms. It's an open playground of stuff. You've just got something of everything to explore and enough to keep you busy for a very long time. Pretty good and really small. 35 centimeters, 25 centimeters, 4 centimeters deep. Small, but it's ergonomically like nice, So yeah, let's make some sounds. Traditional acid, which it does, but with 2 oscillators, like a 101. CD version. Vacillating here with the low frequency vacillator. As you do. I mean, you do, don't you? When one has one of these things. Oh, that's nice. Just a little simple metropolic sequence with a bit of saw. Bit of H90 in the hall. We can explore sort of different distortion profiles. For that classic 101 thing. Then, like I did once in my Atlantis video, you can FM the filter, of course. Which is a good time. Bit of wavefolder blended in here. Wow. That's blending in love beams via the effects loop. Here's a strange thing. Feeding the main output back into the filter's FM control. Takes sort of acid and makes it sort of self-modulation, or sort of, what's the word? Feedback modulation. Oof. Sounds good. Shame. There it is. FNA DCO. We've got a duophonic thing with one synthesizer doing two completely distinct lines, because you've got two filters, you've got two oscillators, you can have a totally independent thing and sum them together out of the output. I've got Metropolix doing the VCAB slash low pass filter, that diode ladder. Which sounds rather good. And then to that we can add the VCOA going through the filter here, and we sum them together. By the way, of course, we've got 2 envelopes. That's also how we're doing this. You can dedicate one envelope to one thing, the other to the other. Oof. Yeah. Here we have the ring mod section in action. It appears here. Ring modding the 2 VCOs together. Of course, you can interrupt that. Oof. Blending in love beams. Yeah, gives me itchy feet. Nice. Fifth, the delay embedded in. There's double effects here. That's without the Nice.